Ambassador Elena Vasquez walked through the long hallway of the Galactic Council building. Her shoes made soft clicking sounds on the metal floor. Around her, aliens from dozens of different worlds moved in groups, talking and laughing. None of them looked at her. To them, she was just another human, weak, simple, and not worth their time. Elena carried a small data pad in her hands. It contained another formal complaint against the Zephyrian Empire. This would be the 15th complaint this year. The Zephyrians had attacked 3 more human cargo ships last month. They claimed the ships were in Zephyrian space, but everyone knew that was a lie. The space belonged to no one, but the Zephyrians took it anyway. She entered the main council chamber. The room was huge, with seats arranged in circles going up to the ceiling. Representatives from hundreds of worlds sat in those seats. Elena walked to the small platform in the center. Her spot was at the bottom, where the least important speakers stood. Above her, Admiral Krext of the Zephyrian Empire sat in his golden chair. His blue skin showed dark patterns when he was angry or excited. Right now, the patterns were bright with amusement. He had 6 arms, and he used all of them to make gestures while he talked to other representatives. Members of the council, Elena began. I come before you again to protest the illegal actions of the Zephyrian Empire against human vessels and colonies. Several aliens laughed. The sound echoed through the chamber. Admiral Krexith leaned forward in his seat. The humans complain again, he said, his voice loud and mocking. Tell me, little human, what will your people do if we do not listen? Will you send your tiny ships to fight us? Will your primitive weapons scare us? More laughter filled the room. Elena kept her face calm, but inside she counted. 15 representatives from the Zephyrian Empire were here today. 12 from their closest allies, the Vorthan Collective. 8 from the Stellar Brotherhood, who always voted with the Zephyrians. She memorized their faces and their positions. We ask only for peace, Elena said. Our people want to trade and learn from other worlds. We do not seek conflict, because you cannot win. Admiral Krex stood up, spreading all 6 arms wide. You humans stumbled into space travel by accident. You copy our technology because you cannot make your own. You beg for protection because you cannot protect yourselves. The Admiral's patterns were now glowing bright orange with excitement. Elena noted this detail. Her small device, hidden in her data pad, recorded everything. The Admiral's voice patterns, the electromagnetic signatures of Zephyrian technology, the genetic markers in his breath. Humans are pets, said Representative Korth from the Vorthan Collective. Her voice sounded like grinding metal. Useful pets sometimes. They work hard and ask for little. But pets should not speak in the Council of Real Civilizations. Elena bowed her head as if accepting the insult. Really, she was activating a scanning beam that mapped the internal structure of Korth's biomechanical body. The beam was invisible and felt like nothing. By tomorrow, human scientists would know exactly how Vorthan technology worked. We withdraw our complaint, Elena said finally. We do not wish to waste the Council's time. This brought the biggest laughter yet. As Elena walked away, she heard Admiral Krext talking to his allies. The humans will never fight back, he said. They are too weak, too scared. We can take whatever we want from them. Elena walked back through the hallway. Once she was alone, she touched a small button on her uniform. A voice spoke in her ear through a hidden communicator. Control to Ambassador. Report. Mission successful, Elena said quietly. Full bioscans completed on all Zephyrian command staff. Voice patterns recorded. Ship signatures logged. I also got genetic samples from their breathing. Excellent work. Any changes in their behavior patterns? Elena thought for a moment. Admiral Krext is getting more aggressive. His confidence levels are increasing. I think they are planning something big. Understood. Continue Phase 1 protocols. Remember, you are weak and afraid. Elena smiled for the first time that day. Copy that, Control. Weak and afraid. She continued walking toward her transport ship. It was small and looked old. The other aliens often pointed at it and laughed. They did not know that inside the ship's simple hull were quantum computers more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. They did not know that the ship's weak engines could actually travel faster than any Zephyrian vessel. Alana's pilot was a young man named David Chun. When she climbed aboard, he was reading what looked like a children's book about space travel. Really, it was a detailed analysis of Zephyrian weapon systems. How did it go, Ambassador? David asked. Same as always. They think we are stupid pets who cannot fight back. David grinned. If only they knew. Through the ship's window, Elena watched the massive Zephyrian battle station that guarded the Council world. It had enough firepower to destroy a moon. The Zephyrians built it to show their strength to other civilizations. What they did not know was that Elena's ship had already scanned every weapon, every shield, every weak point on that station. Human engineers back on Earth knew exactly how to destroy it in less than 10 minutes. Take us home, David, Elena said. I need to report to command. As their small ship left the Council world, Elena composed her real report in her mind. For 3 years, humanity had played this role. They acted weak and scared while aliens attacked their colonies and stole their resources. But every insult, every attack, every moment of alien cruelty was being recorded and studied. The galaxy thought humans were primitive because they did not show off their technology. They thought humans were weak because they did not fight back. They thought humans were stupid because they kept asking for peace instead of demanding respect. They were wrong about everything. Soon, Elena thought they would learn the truth about humanity. Soon, they would understand the difference between cannot fight and choose not to fight. But for now, she was just a weak human ambassador, carrying complaints no one would hear from a species no one respected. The game continued. Dr. Sarah Kim was working in her laboratory when the alarm started. The sound was sharp and loud, cutting through the quiet hum of New Geneva Colony's research station. She looked up from her microscope, confused. They had not had an emergency drill in months. The alarms kept ringing. Sarah walked to the window and looked out at space. In the distance, she saw lights moving fast toward the colony. Ships. Many ships. They were not human ships. All staff report to emergency stations, a voice said through the speakers. This is not a drill. Unknown vessels approaching. All staff report to emergency stations. Sarah's hand shook as she saved her work and closed her computer. New Geneva Colony was a research station, not a military base. They studied plants and animals from different worlds, trying to find new medicines and food sources. The colony had 8,000 people, mostly scientists and their families. They had no weapons except small security tools. The ships outside the window were getting closer. Sarah could see them clearly now. Long, dark vessels with curved wings and bright blue lights. Zephyrian warships. Her heart started beating faster. Dr. Martinez, the colony director, spoke through the communication system. His voice was calm, but Sarah could hear the fear underneath. This is Director Martinez to all residents. We have contacted Earth Command for assistance. Help is coming. Please remain calm and follow emergency procedures. Sarah ran toward the emergency shelter in the colony's center. Around her, other people were running too. Children cried while their parents carried them. Old scientists moved as fast as they could, with younger people helping them. The first explosion shook the entire station. Sarah fell against a wall. The lights flickered. Through the windows, She could see fire and debris floating in space. The Zephyrians had destroyed the colony's communication array. More explosions followed. The Zephyrians were not trying to capture the colony. They were destroying it piece by piece. Sarah reached the emergency shelter and crowded inside with hundreds of other people. The shelter was strong, built to protect against accidents or equipment failures. But it was not built to survive military weapons. On screens inside the shelter, they could see what was happening outside. Admiral Krexith's face appeared on every communication channel. His blue skin showed bright orange patterns of excitement. "Attention, human insects," Admiral Krexith said. "You exist in space only because we allow it. Today, we show the galaxy what happens when pets try to act like equals." The Admiral gestured with his 6 arms towards something off-screen. "This human colony claims to be conducting research. We know you are really building weapons. We will destroy this threat before it grows." Dr. Martinez's voice came through the shelter's communication system. "Admiral Krexith, this is a civilian research station. We have no military personnel or weapons here. Please, we have children." Admiral Krexith laughed. "Children grow into soldiers. Better to remove the problem now." The largest explosion yet shook the shelter. Sarah heard metal breaking and air rushing out somewhere in the colony. People screamed. Emergency lights turned on as the main power failed. Through the shelter's thick windows, Sarah could see Zephyrian Marines entering the damaged sections of the colony. They wore heavy armor and carried powerful weapons. But they were not trying to capture prisoners. They were killing everyone they found. "Please," Dr. Martinez said again. "We surrender. Take the colony if you want, but let the people live." "The galaxy must see human weakness," Admiral Krexith replied. "They must see that humans cannot protect even their own children. This lesson will be broadcast across all civilized worlds." Sarah realized what was happening. This was not just an attack. It was entertainment for the rest of the galaxy. The Zephyrians were showing everyone how easily they could destroy a human colony. They were proving that humans were weak and helpless. The attacks continued for 6 hours. Sarah watched through the screens as the Zephyrians methodically destroyed everything. They were not in a hurry. They were enjoying themselves. When it was over, New Geneva colony was gone. Broken pieces floated in space where the research station used to be. Of the 8,000 people who lived there, only a few hundred survived in the emergency shelters. The rest were dead. Admiral Krexith appeared on the screens one last time. "Let this be a lesson to all humans. You are nothing. You exist only because we allow it. Try to rise above your place, and this is what happens." The signal cut off. The surviving colonists sat in silence in their damaged shelters. Rescue ships would come eventually, but for now, they could only wait and grieve. 2 days later, Ambassador Elena Vasquez walked into the Galactic Council chamber again. But this time was different. She did not carry a datapad with complaints. Instead, she carried a small, metal device that she placed carefully on the speaker's platform. The alien representatives watched with amusement. Admiral Krexith was there too, still glowing with satisfaction from his victory at New Geneva. "Members of the Council," Elena said, "I am not here to file a complaint today." Some aliens chuckled. They expected another weak human surrender. Elena activated the device. A hologram appeared above it, showing a tall man in a simple blue suit. President Martinez of Earth. His face was calm, but his eyes were cold as ice. "My name is President Martinez," the hologram said. "I speak for all humanity." The laughter in the chamber stopped. Something about the human president's voice made everyone listen. "For 3 years, we have asked for peace. For 3 years, we have endured your attacks on our people and our worlds. We have tried to solve our differences through words instead of violence. You have mistaken our desire for peace as a sign of weakness." President Martinez paused. When he spoke again, his voice was even colder. 2 days ago, Admiral Crext H ordered the destruction of New Geneva Colony. 8,000 civilians died for your entertainment. Men, women, and children who never threatened anyone. You killed them to prove a point. Admiral Crext H started to stand up. But something made him sit back down. "You have 72 galactic standard hours," President Martinez continued, "to withdraw from all human territories and provide full reparations for the people you murdered at New Geneva Colony." The alien representatives began to whisper among themselves. This did not sound like the weak humans they knew. "If you do not comply," President Martinez said, "we will stop pretending to be courteous." The hologram disappeared. Elena picked up the device and walked away without saying another word. Admiral Crext H stood up, his patterns flashing bright red with anger. "The humans threaten us. This proves they are planning war. We should destroy Earth before they attack." But as Elena left the chamber, she smiled. The countdown had begun. Captain Sarah Chun sat on the bridge of her ship, watching the countdown timer on her screen. 71 hours, 43 minutes, and 16 seconds remained. Around her, the bridge crew worked quietly at their stations. To anyone watching, they looked like normal cargo haulers getting ready for another boring supply run. The ship was called the Courtesy. For 2 years, it had delivered medicine and food to human colonies near Zephyrian space. The Zephyrians often stopped the ship and searched it. They always found exactly what they expected: basic supplies, simple computers, and weak defensive systems. They never found the real ship. "Captain," said Lieutenant Park from the communications station, "we are receiving coded signals from Earth Command." Sarah nodded. "Put it through." The message was simple. "Operation Unveiling is authorized. Remove all limiters. Show them who we really are." Sarah looked at her crew. These people had spent 2 years pretending to be simple cargo workers. In reality, they were some of the best military officers Earth had ever produced. "You heard the message," Sarah said. "Let's drop the act." Lieutenant Park typed commands into his console. Around the ship, hidden panels began to open. What looked like cargo containers started to unfold into weapon systems. The ship's hull, which appeared to be simple metal, began to change. Stealth plating activated, making the ship nearly invisible to sensors. "Weapons coming online," reported Sergeant Kim from Tactical. "All systems showing green. We have full targeting locks on the Zephyrian fleet." Through the main screen, Sarah could see the Zephyrian homeworld below. It was a beautiful planet with blue oceans and white clouds. Around it flew dozens of Zephyrian warships, the same type that had destroyed New Geneva Colony. For 2 years, the Courtesy had floated near this planet, pretending to be helpless. Really, it had been studying every ship, every defense, every weakness in the Zephyrian military. Sarah's quantum computers had run millions of battle simulations. She knew exactly how this fight would end. "Open a channel to the Zephyrian fleet," Sarah ordered. Admiral Crexit's face appeared on screen. Behind him, Sarah could see the bridge of his flagship. She recognized it from her intelligence reports. "Human cargo ship," Admiral Crext H said. "You are in Zephyrian space without permission. Surrender immediately or we will destroy you." Sarah smiled. "Admiral, my name is Captain Chen. I have been studying your fleet for 2 years. I know the shield frequency of every ship. I know where your weapons are stored. I know which of your officers are competent and which are fools." Admiral Crexit's patterns began to change color. "Impossible. You are simple traitors. Your ship has no weapons." "That is what we wanted you to think," Sarah replied. "Computer, show the Admiral our real capabilities." The Courtesy fully revealed itself. Hidden weapon ports opened along the entire hull. Advanced sensor arrays extended from what had looked like simple cargo bay doors. The ship's engines, which had always seemed weak, now showed their true power output. Admiral Krext stared at the readings his sensors were providing. This cannot be real. Your technology is primitive. You copy from us. We copy nothing, Sarah said calmly. We achieved faster-than-light travel before we ever met you. We developed quantum computing while you were still using mechanical calculators. We chose to appear weak because we hoped to live in peace. On her tactical display, Sarah could see the positions of all Zephyrian ships. They were spread out, confident in their superiority. Perfect targets. You will surrender immediately, Admiral Krext demanded, or face the might of the Zephyrian Empire. No, Sarah said. You will surrender. Computer, begin operation. The courtesy moved faster than any Zephyrian had ever seen a ship move. It appeared next to Admiral Krexith's flagship in the time it took him to blink. Sarah's weapons locked onto the ship's weapon systems and engines. Our first shots were perfect, disabling the flagship without killing anyone. Impossible, Admiral Krexith shouted. Our shields are impenetrable. Your shields operate on frequencies we learned 2 years ago, Sarah explained as her ship moved to the next target. We have been listening to your communications, studying your technology, mapping your weaknesses. Every time you laughed at us, we took notes. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out. Human ships that had pretended to be weak cargo haulers suddenly revealed advanced weapon systems. Research vessels became battleships. Diplomatic couriers turned into destroyers. In the Vorthen system, the human ship Patience had been delivering medical supplies for 3 years. Representative Korth had personally inspected it dozens of times, always mocking human technology. Now Captain Williams showed Korth what human medical technology could really do. Nanobots that could shut down Vorthen biomechanical systems with surgical precision. Near the Stellar Brotherhood territory, the diplomacy had been carrying ambassadors and trade goods. The aliens had searched it many times, finding only simple computers and basic supplies. Captain Rodriguez revealed that the simple computers were actually quantum processing systems, more advanced than anything the Brotherhood had ever imagined. Sarah continued her methodical destruction of the Zephyrian fleet. Each shot was precise, disabling ships without unnecessary killing. Her crew worked with practiced efficiency. How? Admiral Krext asked as his communications array was destroyed. How did you fool us for so long? Sarah's voice was calm and professional. You thought kindness was weakness. You thought our request for peace meant we could not fight. You believed we were primitive because we did not boast about our achievements. Another Zephyrian ship tried to escape. Sarah's targeting system locked onto its engines and disabled them with a single shot. Every time you attacked our colonies, we studied how you fought. Every time you shared technology with other species in our presence, we learned from it. Every time you held military meetings, thinking we were too stupid to understand, we recorded everything. The battle was almost over. Of the 50 Zephyrian warships that had been guarding their homeworld, 47 were now disabled and drifting in space. The remaining 3 had surrendered. This is Captain Chun to all Zephyrian vessels, Sarah announced. Your fleet is defeated. Your weapons are offline. Your homeworld is defenseless. But we are not like you. We do not kill civilians for entertainment. She paused, letting her words sink in. Send a message to all your allies. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that humans kept their promise. We stopped being courteous. Now you know what that means. Admiral Krexith's ship was powerless, floating in space. His bridge was dark, except for emergency lighting. Through the screen, Sarah could see the Admiral's patterns had changed to deep blue, the color of Zephyrian fear. You win, he said quietly. What are your terms? Sarah looked at the planet below. Millions of Zephyrians lived there, soldiers and civilians, adults and children. With her ship's weapons, she could destroy entire cities in minutes. But that was not why she was here. "Withdraw from all human space," she said. "Return all stolen property. Provide reparations for the people you murdered at New Geneva." "And if we refuse," Sarah's voice grew cold. "Admiral, you have seen one ship reveal its true capabilities. We have thousands more. Your choice is simple: peace or total defeat." The Admiral nodded slowly. "We will comply." As Sarah watched the disabled Zephyrian fleet, she thought about the message this would send across the galaxy. For 3 years, aliens had thought humans were weak pets who could be bullied and destroyed for entertainment. Now they knew the truth. Humans were not weak. They were not primitive. They were the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Dangerous because they possessed overwhelming power and chose not to use it until someone forced them to stop being polite. The news spread across the galaxy faster than anyone thought possible. Within hours, every civilization knew what had happened at the Zephyrian homeworld. A single human ship had destroyed an entire fleet. The weak humans had technology that made the galaxy's greatest military powers look like children playing with toys. General Morrison sat in Earth Command headquarters, watching reports from across known space. On dozens of screens, he could see human forces revealing themselves everywhere. For 3 years, his people had maintained perfect disguises while gathering intelligence on every hostile civilization. "Report from the Vorthen Collective," said Colonel Banks, reading from her datapad. "Captain Williams has disabled their entire biomechanical warfleet. The Vorthens are requesting immediate surrender terms." "Stellar Brotherhood?" General Morrison asked. "Captain Rodriguez has shut down their orbital weapon platforms around 12 worlds. Their military command structure is completely paralyzed." General Morrison nodded. Every part of Operation Unveiling was proceeding exactly as planned. But this was not about conquest. This was about sending a message that could never be ignored. Captain Marcus Webb was leading one of the most important missions. His ship, the Resolve, was approaching Kepler 442, the largest military stronghold in the galaxy. For 5 years, the base had been used to launch attacks against smaller civilizations. The Zephyrians called it their fortress of power. Marcus had been studying this base longer than anyone. His ship had delivered supplies there dozens of times, always playing the role of a simple human trader. The base commander, General Vextar, enjoyed humiliating human visitors. He would make them wait for hours, search their ships multiple times, and often steal their cargo just because he could. Now Marcus was going to show General Vextar what real power looked like. "Captain," said his weapons officer. "Lieutenant Torres, we are in range of the fortress. Their defenses are charging weapons." "Let them," Marcus replied calmly. "Computer, begin full reveal." The Resolve had appeared to be a simple cargo ship, but now it showed its true form. Hidden armor plating extended across the hull. Weapon systems emerged from concealed compartments. Most importantly, the ship's artificial intelligence came online, a quantum consciousness that could think millions of times faster than any biological brain. "General," Vextar's voice came through the communication system. "Human ship, you will surrender immediately. This fortress has enough firepower to destroy a moon." Marcus smiled. "General, this is Captain Webb. I have been delivering supplies to your base for 5 years. Do you remember me?" "You are all the same," General Vextar replied with contempt. "Weak creatures begging for scraps." "I remember every insult you gave me," Marcus said. "Every time you made me wait while your soldiers searched my ship. Every time you stole my cargo and laughed about it." I took notes. The fortress began firing its massive weapons at the Resolve. Beams of energy that could cut through mountains struck the human ship. But the beams passed right through it as if it was not there. Impossible! General Vexstar shouted. Our sensors show direct hits. Your weapons are hitting where my ship was 3 seconds ago, Marcus explained patiently. My quantum computer calculated the trajectory of every weapon on your base. My ship is always exactly where your shots will not be. The Resolve moved closer to the fortress, dodging weapon fire that seemed impossible to avoid. Marcus's ship appeared to dance between the energy beams, moving with perfect grace. How are you doing this? General Vexstar demanded. Mathematics, Marcus replied. While you were building bigger guns, we were building better minds. Computer, disable their primary weapons array. The Resolve fired a single precise shot. It struck the fortress's main power generator, causing a cascade failure that shut down all weapons simultaneously. The mighty fortress of power went dark in seconds. Your base is defenseless, Marcus announced. Your weapons are offline. Your shields are down. But I am not here to destroy you. I am here to ask you a question. General Vexstar's voice was shaking now. What question? Do you understand yet? Do you finally see what we have been trying to tell you for 3 years? Marcus activated his ship's external lights, illuminating the massive fortress. In that light, General Vexstar could see other human ships appearing around the base. Ships that had been invisible, hidden in space, watching and waiting. For 5 years, Marcus continued. Every time I delivered supplies to your base, my ship was recording everything. Every security code, every weapon frequency, every structural weakness. You searched my cargo bay, but never thought to scan for quantum data storage. One by one, the fortress's systems began shutting down. Life support stayed active. Humans did not kill unnecessarily, but everything else went offline. We learned your languages by listening to your communications. We studied your technology by examining your equipment when you were not looking. We mapped your military strategies by watching your war games. Marcus paused, letting the implications sink in. Every civilization in this galaxy has been doing the same thing. You all thought humans were weak because we did not fight back when you attacked us. You thought we were stupid because we asked for peace instead of demanding respect. Around the galaxy, similar conversations were happening. Human ships that had hidden in plain sight for years were revealing the truth to shocked alien commanders on the Corvan homeworld. Captain Singh was explaining to their war council how her research vessel had actually been mapping their entire defense network. You let us scan your cities for scientific purposes, she told them. We found every military installation, every weapons storage facility, every command bunker. You helped us plan this operation and never realized it. In the Drakmor system, Captain Hassan was showing their fleet admirals how human cargo containers were actually sophisticated sensor arrays. Every time we delivered supplies to your ships, we left behind scanning devices, Hassan explained. For 2 years, we have been listening to every communication, tracking every movement, learning every secret. The pattern was the same everywhere. Humans had been playing a completely different game than everyone else realized. While alien civilizations competed to build bigger weapons and larger fleets, humans had been gathering information and building precise tools. Back at Kepler 442, General Vexstar was beginning to understand the scope of what had happened. You planned this for years, he said quietly. We hoped we would never need these plans, Marcus replied. We wanted to live in peace. We wanted to trade and learn and grow together with other civilizations. Marcus's voice grew harder. But you chose to see our kindness as weakness. You chose to attack our colonies and kill our people for entertainment. You chose to make us stop being polite. The fortress was now completely under human control. General Vexstar and his officers were trapped in their command center, surrounded by disabled weapons and non-functional defenses. What happens now? General Vexstar asked. Now you learn the difference between cannot fight and choose not to fight, Marcus answered. Computer, broadcast message to all hostile fleets in the sector. Marcus's voice went out across dozens of star systems, reaching every alien military commander who had ever attacked a human colony or insulted human representatives. This is Captain Webb speaking for Earth Command. Your weapons are useless against us. Your defenses cannot protect you. Your strategies are known to us. We have studied you for years while you underestimated us. He paused, looking at the massive fortress that now drifted powerless in space. But we are not like you. We do not destroy for pleasure. We do not kill for entertainment. We offer you the same thing we have always offered, peace. But now you understand the terms. In systems across the galaxy, alien military forces were laying down their weapons. Not because they chose to, but because they had no choice. Human technology had advanced beyond anything they could fight. The age of underestimating humanity was over. The galaxy was about to learn what it meant when the most powerful civilization was also the most peaceful one. 3 weeks after Operation Unveiling, President Martinez walked into the Galactic Council chamber for the first time. He moved slowly, calmly, like someone who had all the time in the world. Behind him walked Ambassador Elena Vasquez, no longer carrying complaint forms or requests for help. The chamber was full, but very quiet. Representatives from hundreds of worlds sat in their seats, watching the human president with careful attention. Many chairs were empty. The representatives of aggressive civilizations were not welcome anymore. Admiral Krex sat in the lowest row now, no longer in his golden chair of honor. His blue skin showed pale gray patterns of defeat and shame. Beside him sat General Vexstar, and other military commanders who had learned what happened when they pushed humanity too far. President Martinez took the central platform. The same spot where Elena had delivered so many ignored complaints was now the most important position in the chamber. Members of the council, President Martinez began. 3 weeks ago, you learned something about humanity that we hoped you would never need to know. His voice carried easily through the silent chamber. Every representative listened to every word. For 3 years, we asked for peace. We requested fair treatment. We begged you to stop attacking our colonies and killing our people. You laughed at us. You called us weak. You said we were pets who should be grateful for whatever scraps you threw. U.S. President Martinez looked directly at Admiral Krex. You broadcast the destruction of New Geneva, colony across the galaxy, as entertainment. You murdered 8,000 civilians to prove that humans could not protect themselves. Admiral Krex tried to speak, but President Martinez raised his hand for silence. You were wrong about us. We are not weak. We never were. But we made a choice that you could not understand. We chose to be kind. We chose to seek cooperation instead of domination. We chose to respond to violence with patience instead of revenge. The president walked to the edge of the platform, closer to the assembled representatives. That choice cost us. Our colonies were destroyed. Our people were murdered. Our requests for justice were ignored. But we maintained our choice because we believed that peace was better than war. He paused, letting his words echo through the chamber. You forced us to make a different choice. On the large screens around the chamber, images appeared. Human fleets patrolling space routes that had been controlled by pirates and raiders. Peaceful cargo ships traveling freely through systems that used to attack them. Former slave worlds where human forces had freed entire populations. In 3 weeks, we've accomplished what your council could not do in 50 years, President Martinez said. We have brought actual peace to the galaxy. Not the peace of the strong bullying the weak, but real peace where all civilizations can grow and prosper. Representative Korth from the Vorthan Collective stood up slowly. Her mechanical voice sounded different now, respectful instead of mocking. President Martinez, she said, the Vorthan Collective formally apologizes for our treatment of humanity. We request to establish diplomatic relations and trade agreements with Earth. Before President Martinez could respond, dozens of other representatives stood up. Each one offered similar apologies and requests for friendship with humanity. The same aliens who had laughed at human weakness now competed to show respect for human power. President Martinez waited for them to finish. Then he smiled. The galaxy does not need to fear us, he said. We do not want your colonies. We do not need your resources. We do not seek revenge against those who wronged us. He gestured toward the screens, showing peaceful space travel and protected trade routes. We want what we always wanted, cooperation, learning, and mutual prosperity. The difference now is that you understand the terms of that cooperation. A new voice spoke from the back of the chamber. What about those who cannot accept these terms? President Martinez looked toward the speaker, a representative from a distant system that humanity had never encountered. Every civilization has a choice, President Martinez replied. Work with others in peace or face the consequences of aggression. We will not attack anyone who leaves others alone, but we will no longer allow anyone to attack those under our protection. Admiral Krext H finally spoke. His voice was quiet, barely audible. What happens to the Zephyrian Empire? President Martinez considered the question carefully. Your empire attacked human colonies, murdered human civilians, and threatened galactic peace for decades. Justice demands consequences. Fear showed in Admiral Krexith's patterns. But President Martinez continued with unexpected mercy. However, punishment for its own sake serves no purpose. Your military forces will be limited. Your aggressive expansion will stop. Your government will pay reparations to those you harmed. But your people will be allowed to rebuild in peace, if they choose peace. Relief flooded through the chamber. Many representatives had expected humanity to demand revenge after suffering so many attacks. This is the difference between us, President Martinez explained. You sought to dominate through fear. We seek to lead through example. Over the following months, the galaxy began to change in ways no one had expected. Trade routes that had been dangerous for centuries became safe under human protection. Scientific discoveries increased rapidly as civilizations shared knowledge instead of hoarding it. Wars between alien species ended when human mediators offered solutions that benefited everyone. Ambassador Elena Vasquez found herself busier than ever, but in a completely different way. Instead of filing ignored complaints, she was negotiating trade agreements, mediating disputes, and helping former enemies learn to work together. It is strange, she told President Martinez during one of their regular communications. They treat us with so much respect now. Sometimes I miss when they thought we were harmless. President Martinez laughed. We are still the same people we always were, Elena. We still prefer peace to war, cooperation to conflict, kindness to cruelty. The only difference is that now they know what happens when they try to take advantage of our good nature. The human fleet continued its patrols across the galaxy, but their weapons remained powered down. They did not need to threaten anyone anymore. Every civilization understood that attacking the innocent would bring swift and certain consequences. Admiral Krext, working in a reduced role on a Zephyrian reconstruction project, sent a message to Earth Command. I spent my life believing that strength meant the ability to destroy, he wrote. You taught us that true strength is the ability to choose not to destroy, even when you have every reason to do so. President Martinez read the message in his office on Earth. Through his window, he could see children playing in gardens, that had been built where military bunkers used to stand. Humanity had not needed its hidden military preparations for months now. Peace was more efficient than war, but the preparations remained, invisible and ready. The galaxy had learned that humans were not weak, and humans had learned that the galaxy respected strength more than kindness. The lesson served both sides well. Years later, when new civilizations made contact with the galactic community, they would hear the same story from every species they met. They would learn about the humans who had been underestimated, who had chosen patience over revenge, who had built peace through demonstrated strength rather than threats. They would learn about Earth's last ultimatum, and how the galaxy discovered that the most dangerous civilizations were often the ones that appeared most peaceful. Most importantly, they would learn that when humans said, "Please," and "Thank you," and "We prefer cooperation," those words carried the weight of absolute authority. Not because humans demanded respect, but because they had earned it through 3 years of patience and 36 hours of perfectly executed justice. The galaxy was at peace, and everyone understood exactly why it would stay that way.